So Damon kind of helps her look around the room and decide which person is best to feed off of and which is not the best choice. He tells her that the jock or the tweaker is not a good idea because I'm not sure if the guy was tweaking or if he was on weed. Either way, because he's on drugs, it either makes him hyper aware or hyper depressed. So he would immediately be aware of something that was wrong and would probably have a very bad reaction because he's on drugs. The slightly cute geeky chick is definitely not a good choice because she'd immediately call into question anybody looking as good as Elena giving her any sort of attention whatsoever and being equally suspicious. And the third person he picks out is your random pretty blonde chick, self-absorbed, doesn't care about anybody else, perfect pick. And the funny thing is that while he's doing this, Elena's completely into it. She's like, oh, yeah, all right, you're right. They're like scouring the whole place for the best picks and everything. And it seems like they're really, meshing like minds. The teacher kind of sees them talking amongst themselves, and he's like, "You got something you want to say?" It's like, "Oh no, I was just saying how much I love witches." So once the class is over, Bonnie takes a moment to talk to the professor on her own, and Elena and Damon they walk outside onto the quad, I guess, in the grassy area outside the building, and Damon picks out a young girl that happens to be walking by who he thinks is perfect. And he tells Elena, just, breathe, you got this, grab, feed, erase, no big deal. Don't overthink about it, just do it. I've got your back, I'm right here. It's all good. And she seems like she's got this, she's okay. She walks up, she goes in, she makes a little bit of small talk to make the girl feel comfortable, and then she grabs her wrists and she starts to compel her. And she tells her, don't worry, this isn't going to hurt, don't scream. And she's just about to go in for the bite when she realizes that the girl's other hand is holding a cell phone with a picture of her and a little girl. And I think she must have got the impression that the little girl was her daughter. In fact, I think the little girl was her sister or niece or something. And all of a sudden, she just completely shuts down. Like, she could so, you can see the upheaval of emotion on her face. Oh, I can't hurt her. I can't do it. She is a person. I can't hurt her. And she tells her to go. She compels her again to go back to her class, and the girl walks away. Damon's like, what are you doing? You have got to realize that everybody in this world is somebody's sister or brother or wife or daughter or son or child. Everyone has a kid. Everyone has a niece or a nephew or a mom and a dad. If you don't realize that, it shouldn't matter to you who that person has in their life. You don't even know who that person is. They're there to assuage your thirst, nothing else. If you keep worrying about their personal lives and making it personal to you, you'll never feed off of anybody. And he's right, it's not supposed to be a personal thing. And she's got to realize that. If she doesn't, she's never gonna get over this hurdle. He's not being an asshole about it. He's trying to get her to understand that she needs to move on. She needs to deal with this emotional blockage that she has and just do it, because if she doesn't, she will die. She can't feed off anything but the vein, and that cannot be her personal blood bag forever. See, with Damon it's different. If it was Stefan, he would have been like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why can't you just do it? Blah, blah, blah. But with Damon, he doesn't berate her for not doing it. He explains to her why she shouldn't block herself off. He gives her the criticism, but it's constructive. And she's learning something in the process. He's not just totally crapping on her because she got it wrong. So she doesn't have to feel entirely bad about it. She just needs to keep working at it. At that point in time, Bonnie comes back up and says that they've been invited to a party. Apparently one of the frat houses is having a Halloween party. And she shows them the flyer and it says Murder House. And Damon's like, bling bling, perfect. Douchebag Central, people covered in blood, can you ask for more? Perfect feeding ground. Back to Mystic Falls. So while Jeremy is sitting there drawing the tattoo, he strikes up a conversation with Connor Jordan. And Connor is just absolutely mystified as to why Jeremy would be supportive of the creatures, the vampires. He's like, I thought you were going to help me. I thought you wanted to be a hunter. It's like, well, you're threatening people that I care about. It's like, why would you want to care about them? They're the enemy. They're demons and vampires. I mean, one of them just threatened to kill you. But he doesn't let on at all to the fact that Elaine is a vampire because he doesn't want Connor to know. Meanwhile, Stefan goes over to the Mystic Girl where Rebecca is. It is so ridiculous. I swear this girl's like a broken freaking record. She goes in there and she tries to buy Matt's forgiveness by buying him a brand new truck. Totally paid for, insurance paid for, everything. And Matt just looks at her like, really, really, you killed my friend and made her become a vampire. You almost got me killed. And you think you're going to buy my forgiveness with an object? Seriously. I do not understand this girl. She thinks that she can force people to love her and appreciate her, and it's just not going to work. Her being an original and a vampire, it's not working to her advantage anymore because Matt sees right through her like she's nothing. The only person that seems to give her even a smidgen of respect anymore is April. As a matter of fact, April comes in to the girl with her and they both sit down and tell us, they're like, you're friends with her? Are you serious? I mean, with her? She's all, yes. What of it? And Stefan tries to explain to her that you're not going to be able to buy his affections with a truck or with an object. If you want him to forgive you, you have to get him to trust you. You have to actually try and be a normal person. You have to be sincere, not, And of course, I don't think Rebecca knows how to be that at all. So when Stefan sits down with her, he doesn't even waste any time. He compels April so she won't even remember the conversation that they're having, and he tells her straight. He's like, look, I know that you don't give a crap about Klaus right now. I know you're pissed at him. I really don't give a shit about that. All I know is he's got Connor Jordan chained up, and he wants you to go there to talk to him. He sent me here because he wants me to get you over there so the two of you can make nice for whatever crap there is going on between you, which I really don't care about. All I care about is dealing with this hunter. So can we just, clean slate, bygones be bygones, and work together for the sake of the greater issue here instead of our personal squabbles? And reluctantly, she agrees. But she still she says she still would like an apology from him for the neck breakage. And before they leave, he says to her, like I said before, he's like, if you would just try to be sincere and genuine, maybe you might have a hope of getting a clean slate with Matt. So the two of them leave and go back over to Klaus's place, and in the interim, while Jeremy is talking with Connor Jordan, he asks him about the tattoo and why it's so important, or how he got it. All that Connor Jordan knows is that the last person who had the tattoo was a friend of his that he knew during the war in Afghanistan. They were in the army together, and this guy had a big, huge tattoo. And he told him all about, as soon as he realized that Connor could see the tattoo for himself, he realized that Connor was a potential. And he told him everything that he knew about the vampires and hunting and all of it. And then he said eventually after the war was over, he lost track of him until one day that he woke up and the tattoo just showed up there out of nowhere. Ostensibly, I would guess that would mean that his friend died. So now the tattoo is just on his arm, and apparently every time he kills a vampire, it grows and spreads. So he doesn't have the entire map on him. He only has one part of it. Rebecca comes over. Her and Klaus try to make nice for a bit, but it really doesn't. They really don't. It's pretty much them deciding to let bygones be bygones for now, because the hunter is there and they need to deal with him first. He tells Rebecca to tell Stefan the whole story. And this is when we get into flashbacks. Gotta love the flashbacks because, well, Elijah. This flashback takes place in the 12th century in Italy. This is when the originals first came across the five. Apparently at this point in time, the family was spread out. They were, I think, trying not only to elude Michael, but they were killing and feeding in different parts of the world. I heard them saying Cole was in the east. I'm guessing that means Finn was probably in the west. And Elijah, Rebecca, and Klaus, as always, were together. They came into an Italian village, and that's where they first saw the five. They were up on a stage in the middle of the town square doing this fire and brimstone number about, smiting the demons. And apparently they had one of the vampires they had captured and put in a light restricted coffin. And when they opened it up in front of these people, the man walked out of the coffin and immediately died because the sunlight hit him, and so it proved to the crowd, to the masses, that these vampires really were real, and yada yada. Rebecca set her sights on one of them, and originally it was supposed to be that she was supposed to gain his trust and his affection in order to get information. But what they didn't count on was the fact that she fell in love with this hunter, deeply in love with this hunter, and he told her everything. He told her about the tattoo, which each of his brothers had, and the tattoo had symbol on it that was actually a map that led to some kind of weapon, some kind of hugely destructive weapon that, according to them, had the power to destroy all vampires. And the key to deciphering this map was the sword that each one of them carries that has that symbol on it, the same one that's on the bullets. If you put it up he puts the sword up to his chest, it creates like a pentagram, and then it kind of completes the entire tattoo. I don't know exactly how it's read, but it completes the whole thing.